What's up, everyone? It's Tim from TimPlaysAGame here with tips and tricks for the latest big game for the Nintendo Switch, ARMS. Today we'll cover the basics and lead into more advanced strategies for winning matches and getting more cash to get more arms for your fighters. Let's start at square one. First, punching. You think that if you just throw punches constantly, you'll eventually hit something, right? Wrong. You need to time your punches and find an opening if you want to hit something. First, wait for your opponent to be in the center of the screen. The center of the area is where your straight punches are going to hit. Second, wait for your opponent to try and punch or grab you. Dodge by dashing and or jumping, then punch. One of the most effective strategies is to dodge an opponent's punch and then attack with a couple of your own. If your opponent is dodging a lot, you may need to curve your punches. Learn your opponent's movements to not know which way they are going to dash before they can dodge. Next, let's cover dashing and jumping. Dashing and jumping are considered by many to be the key to victory. When trying to find an opening to attack, it is important to avoid your opponent's punches. Using dashes and jumps to dodge opponent's attacks will keep you from taking damage and create an opening for you to attack. Next, we're going to cover charging your punches. Basic punches are good, but if you really want to rock your opponent, you should try charging your punches. You can hold a dash, a jump, or a block to charge your punches. When your arms are glowing, your attacks are charged. The longer you charge up, the more time you have to use a charged punch. Charged punches used effectively can lead to some devastating combos. Next, we're going to cover grabbing. Does your opponent keep blocking your punches? Surprise them with a grab. Grabbing an opponent as opposed to punching them does a lot more damage and can create distance between you and your opponent. Be careful when using this technique, as it leaves you incredibly vulnerable to opponents' attacks. If you see your opponent use a grab, you can dash or jump out of the way. Or you can throw a punch to break the grab and do some damage to them at the same time. Next, we're going to cover blocking. A good way to avoid taking damage and create openings to attack is by blocking. Blocking can deflect punches, and if you dash immediately after you block a punch, you'll be able to counter your opponent's attacks. Be careful when blocking, as you can't move and become open to your opponent grabbing you. If you block too many of your opponent's attacks, your arms will get disabled. You will notice this when you see exclamation points over your arms and your shield begins to turn red. Next, we're going to cover rush attacks. The more punches you throw, hits you take, or attacks you charge up, the more your rush gauge fills up. When this gauge is filled, you can unleash a rush attack that will allow you to throw incredibly strong punches for a few seconds. If you see your opponent activate a rush attack, there are 3 ways to avoid it. First, you can block their punches. Second, you can jump or dash to avoid them. And third, you can punch the opponent hard enough to knock them back and cancel their rush attack. I personally don't recommend the last one, as it is extremely risky. One more helpful hint: unleashing a rush attack can deflect opponents' punches the instant it is activated. Next, we're going to cover the fighters. There are currently 10 different fighters to choose from. Each one has different abilities and arms that make them unique from other fighters. Springman can deflect attacks when his charge wears off, and can permanently charge punches when his health is low enough. Ribbon Girl can jump up to 4 times before coming back down, and can mid-air dive bomb by holding a dash. Ninjara can warp by dashing while jumping, or by deflecting opponents' attacks. Master Mummy can take punches without flinching, and can regenerate health by blocking. Min Min can dash in mid-air to repel attacks with a spin kick, and can grab or charge up to keep her left arm permanently charged until she takes damage. Mechanica can hold a jump or dash to hover and can absorb some punches without flinching. Twintail can slow incoming attacks by charging up and can hold a dash in air to perform a mid-air charge. Bite and Bark work as a team when fighting and can repel attacks while doing a high jump when Bite jumps off Bark. Kid Cobra can dash further while his punches are charged and can jump faster than any other fighter. Helix can extend his body to dodge attacks by holding jump, and can shrink his body by holding dash. I highly recommend using every fighter to figure out which one is the best fit for your fighting style. Next, let's cover the stages. Each stage in ARMS has features that make them unique. Spring Stadium has springboards that can be used to jump higher or get an extra hit on your opponent. Ribbon Ring has boxes that you can stand on to gain high ground or punch through to surprise your opponent. Ninja College's Grand Stairs make fighters battle for the high ground. The mausoleum's floor can be broken to reveal a trampoline in the center to help you jump higher. Ramen Bowl caves in at the center, making it difficult to constantly dodge attacks. The scrapyard has a prominent high ground and poles in the center to attack around. Cinema Dais has cars that can be bounced on to jump higher. Buster Beach is narrow and has a small platform in the middle. Snake Park has snakeboards that can be used to make moving around the stage faster and easier. The DNA Lab has tubes that can be used to defend from attacks and attack around with curved punches. And then finally, let's cover trying new combinations. As you play ARMS, you'll start to rack up a lot of in-game cash. You can spend this cash in ARMS Getter to acquire new arms for your fighters. Mix and match different combinations of arms with different fighters so that play to their strengths. Heavier arms like the Megaton are slow but can knock away a little lighter punches. Side-sweeping punches like the Slapamander are great for getting around heavy arms and hitting fighters that like to dodge constantly. Multi-shot arms like the Tri-Bolt have wide-range attacks that make hitting an opponent much easier. Experiment with different arms on different fighters and try out different arms in the ARMS tests to get a feel for all different types of arm combinations. This has been Tips and Tricks for ARMS for the Nintendo Switch. If you have any other tips, tricks, or helpful hints of your own, please post them in the comment section below. I want to thank everyone for watching. This is Tim from TimPlaysAGame signing off, and have a good night.